are in the mix with D.HALL and the People's Show.
What can I say? I appreciate y'all guys for coming in.
You are in the mix with D.HALL and the People's Show.
Coming to us out of studio today in beautiful Raleigh, North Carolina. He stands next to his world-famous producer, Jay. He is the number one, undisputed, top talk show host on the air today. The voice of the people show. Ladies and gentlemen, here is D.HALL.
York production.
Hello to everybody. We're back. Good to see y'all, man. Hope y'all doing good. It's another Sunday, Combat Sunday. Hello to you, Chuck. See, my man Chuck is in the house. My man Chuck Mckart. What's up, brother? Good to see you, man. Thank y'all for coming in with me for the next 30 to 40 minutes. It's another Sunday. It's Combat Sunday. Also NFL. My Detroit Lions are getting their ass kicked right now. Carolina, I don't know what's going on with them, but Detroit is losing. They was losing 28-0. So, what can I say? But I'm still a fan. I'm still rocking with them. You know what I'm saying? Still rocking with them. A lot to talk about. We got my man Bronco Mckart, WBO former junior middleweight champion. He's going to be on here just a second. Showtime, going out of business. Man, we got a lot to talk about. There's a lot to talk about. But before we get started, this is an online program. That is the work of talk and discussion. This is an online talk show to educate adult audiences. Parental advisory is advised. Some things may not be censored for kids. So if you would, watch your kids, because, we may say a few little bad words here and there. You know what I'm saying? Good to see y'all, man. Thank y'all. Share the video one time, if you will. We get ready to bring him in. My man, we got a little Michigan connection. Michigan won yesterday. Here we go. Let's get him in here right now. Good to see him.
How you doing, man? How you doing? Good to be on.
Hey, man, good to have you on, my brother. Good to see you, man. Thank you.
You.
You're looking great, man. You're looking like me. You're looking good.
My man, trying to be sharp. I knew I had to be a little sharp on the show. That Michigan connection, baby.
I know that's right, man. Thank you for joining us today. Thank you for being a part of the program that me and Jay York have here today. And I'm good to see you, man. And first, before we go any further, do anything else, I want you to tell the people who you are and where you're from.
Man, I'm Bronco Mckart, former WBO junior middleweight champion of the world. Retired from boxing with a 56-11 record, 1 draw, 34 knockouts. From Monroe, Michigan. Born and bred, and probably where I'll be stayed and dead.
Stay till your head is cold. After this over. I know that's right. My man Chuck Message, he says, can't wait to see Bronco. When you see him, he's here with me right now. There's a lot of people coming in. Now, there may be some, before we get into our conversation, there may be some people that I may miss. I'm running a machine, so I'm back and forth, and I'm sharing it. So I'm doing a lot of things. I'm a magic man. So I'm doing a lot of things right now. But, hey, look, we're going to get right into the conversation with my man Bronco Mckart, all the way from Michigan. Yeah, Michigan connection. Yeah, my parents is up there. But it ain't about me today. It's about my man right here, Bronco.
My man.
You've been doing your thing, man. You've been in the boxing. Did you ever have any amateur, boxing or yeah?
Yeah. So I didn't have an extensive career. What I had was like 35 amateur fights, but in those 35 amateur fights, I'd won the Toledo Golden Gloves. I think four times, finished runner-up twice, won the Michigan State Junior Olympics, Detroit Diamond Gloves, fought in the Nationals in 1992. So I didn't have quantity, but I had quality.
Right, exactly. I like to touch a little bit on the person's background with the boxing because that's where it started at. I mean, but did you know that's what you wanted to do when
Yep.
you first jumped onto it? Did you that
Well,
was that what you wanted to do?
not when I exactly first jumped into it, because I was like 9 years old the very first time I ever tried boxing. I
Hmm.
hated it. I told my dad, "This is not for me. I'm not doing this. Don't like it. Don't like anything about it." 5 years later, 14 years old, I'm back in the gym and started training and absolutely just fell in love with it. And I can remember sitting in high school, just sometimes just daydreaming out the window about being a world champion, about having fights in Monroe, all the things. I'm going to tell you something.
Hmm.
This is where sometimes life is surreal for me, because all the things I literally dreamed about and daydreamed about and thought about, they happened for me.
Right.
So it was I got to live my dream, and boxing has been just so such a blessing for me. Like every time I do one of these interviews, it's because of boxing. It's not because
Because
of
of
anything else that I've done.
yeah, yeah,
So
yeah.
it's just been a blessing, and I appreciate it. I'm grateful, thankful for it. It's been good to me. It's been good
Yeah.
to me.
Yeah, I can tell it has 3 years and what it's done for you and what it has, the levels that the places that it took you, because a lot of places with boxing, it takes them to different places, different areas, different arenas, and be in front of thousands and thousands of people. What year did you start? What year did you start boxing? Can you
Uh,
remember?
as an as an amateur, 1986,
Like,
I boxed amateur from '86 to '92, and then turned pro in July of 1992 under Jackie Callan, James Toney.
right.
James took me in under his wing, and Jackie Callan. I can never give an interview. I can never talk about boxing without saying she changed my life. She took a
Yeah.
chance on me. She signed me when people weren't beating my door down to sign me. And being with Jackie Callan, who at that point was the hottest thing in boxing because she had the hottest fighter in boxing in James Toney, put me on a lot of his undercards, put me on a lot of the big fights, and changed my life. I
Yeah.
love Jackie Callan to this day. She's a dear friend. She's like a second mother to me, and I'm
Yeah.
like a son to her. So
Right. Right. Yeah, I remember Jackie Callan and Jackie Callum. I remember her quite well. HBO boxing. I'm
mhm.
quite sure you know about that. HBO boxing, the long ring it had, throughout the years. I remember seeing James Toney. James Toney was on my program. I don't know, sometime it was last year he was up here, and I still see him off and on. Hello to Stephen Covell with the BWTV boxing all the way out of the UK. Has a boxing group over there with Craig Hugh. You remember Craig? I don't know if you remember Craig Hugh or not. The Hauk, I think it's
from
Hauk.
from Indiana, Craig
Yeah,
Houck from Indiana. Yeah, yeah. Know Craig very well. Very good
yeah,
guy. Very
yeah.
good
He
guy.
runs that boxing page over there. Him and Stephen Covell. Thank you for stopping in and coming by, Stephen. Your first time going to the ring, what was it like for you? Your first fight, what was it like for you?
It was crazy for me because for me, I was fighting at the Palace of Auburn Hills, which is where the Detroit Pistons played, a number of years, and that arena sat like 20,000 people. I mean, there wasn't that many there for my first fight, but there
Right,
was.
right.
I'm just on the undercard, but when it was my turn to fight and the music starts and you get to walk down that tunnel, when I hit the end of the tunnel, the
Hmm.
reception that I received from the crowd, because a lot of my hometown people from Monroe, Michigan showed up, man. They
Yeah,
showed up and showed
yeah,
out, had
yeah.
signs and all kinds of stuff. And I can't lie. I pretty much remember the end of the tunnel and the end of the fight because I was numb everywhere in between because the rush of adrenaline that hit me from the support that I had from the city that I grew up in, it just kind of overwhelmed me. And I really don't remember a whole lot of the fight. I know I won, but I just remember that roar, those
Yeah,
goosebumps, that numb feeling, and boom, the fight was over.
it was over. Wow. When you was inside, I know you knew what you was doing was in when you was inside there, but with the first punch that you threw, what did it feel like? It was I know you was nervous and you was just had so much butterflies going through you. What was it just like just being in there?
So I was always nervous before every fight, not like very nervous before every fight. And but once the bell
Bell
rang,
rung?
it was even before the first punch was thrown. Once
Yeah.
the bell rang, it was like boop, the switch turned. It was fight time, and the
Oh yeah.
nerves were gone. You didn't
Oh,
even think
nerve was
about it
gone.
after.
Yeah, yeah, I
Yeah.
got you. Brandon Laskley, ring announcer. Good to see you. Brandon has been on my program too. Thank you for coming in and stopping by. Y'all, we're with the former WBO junior middleweight champion Bronco Mckart. He's here right now. We're talking with him. Look, Kronk Gym. We're gonna talk about that just a little bit. You went to Kronk Gym And I know what it's all about there. You know what I'm saying? Give me your version of it. The Kronk Gym.
Well,
What's it to you?
I think, I mean, listen, when you walk through that door as a fighter, as an outsider, so to speak, and you walk into the Kronk Gym, they start chanting fresh meat, and I mean, and they literally, but for me especially, who's going to kill the white boy? Who's going to kill this effing white boy today? So to go in there as an outsider and a white boy, man, I really had to earn my keep there. So, but I got my respect early in that gym, and then it was just it's just such a great atmosphere, and that's what I like tell people nowadays is I go into a lot of different boxing gyms still when I'm out and I visit, and things like that. Kronk Gym was a kill or be killed gym.
Yeah.
I mean,
yeah.
But it was weird because you still were like family. You were still when you were in there, you were part of the pack. You know what I mean? You were part of the wolves when you were part of that pack. Right. But that gym was a no nonsense gym. If you couldn't fight, I would tell guys, don't come down there just to try to get work and get sparring, because that's not the kind of gym you go into for that. If you can't fight in that gym, you are not going to survive. It's just cut and dry.
I know, because I've lived there in Michigan, and I know what the fighters are like there. They're down, and they are just animals, man. Yeah. They are animals. You come in that Kronk Gym, man. Oh. Man, you got to be ready, brother. That's right.
100%.
Yep. I want to say hello to Ali Dawson. He'll be on Thursday night. He's a professional actor. Been in many, many movies. He's growing. He's a young man, and he's coming up in the movies now. He's a professional actor right here in North Carolina. So we're gonna be talking with him Thursday. Thank you for coming on. You met. Look, there was so many great fighters there. Thomas Hearns, Hilmer Kente, Milton McCroy, Jimmy Paul. Hey, what did you learn for those guys, man?
Well, I got to spar Jimmy Paul. I think when he was getting ready to, I can't remember who he was getting ready to fight, but he was kind of doing a comeback, and I was sparring Jimmy Paul for a while. And he always likes to tell the story about, I hit him with a rib shot and, hurt his rib and so on and so forth. But we were sitting together one day, and he said, "Man, Bronco, me and you used to have some good work." I said, "We did." He said, "Remember that time we were sparring and I hit you with that clean right hand and I hurt you?" And I go, "No, I don't remember that part." I don't remember that part. But I did get to learn a lot from Jimmy Paul, because he was such a smooth technician, and you had to be on your P's and Q's when you were sparring that guy, because he was very intelligent, had a very high boxing IQ. He was smaller than me, so but I still could learn a lot from him. I got to spar Dwayne Thomas. Former WBC middleweight champion, and got to spar him when he was on his comeback trail. Learned a lot from Dwayne. He was a very, very smart guy. Wow. Never got to spar Tommy, thank God. I love and respect that guy to death. Never wanted to spar him, quite honestly. Never wanted any of that action.
Right. Yeah.
But I got to get in there with a lot of really world class fighters, and just by watching them and seeing how they worked and what they did and how sharp they were, and to watch these guys actually, play chess while they're in there, setting up guys, making little moves, and you're sitting on the outside like, man. But I learned a lot of things from James Toney. I learned a whole lot under James Toney and Bill Miller, and of course my dad too. So I was blessed, man. I got to train with some of the best, be around some of the best. Emmanuel Stewart, of course. Keith Lee, Walter Smith. I mean, there were just so many.
Yeah, so many guys. Did you ever see Obakar?
I used to spar him a lot.
Obakar.
Used to spar Obakar a lot. Yeah. Yeah. Okay. We used to have some good work, man.
I bet. Yeah, we're talking about the Kronk Gym in Detroit, Michigan. What a gym it is one of the greatest gyms around the United States that I know of. There's a lot of them, but that's just my favorite one. Look, man, you got a great dad. How important was your dad in your life during your boxing career?
My dad was everything. It's funny because I just picked him up today. He called me and wanted to go out and buy himself a couple pair of jeans and some socks and stuff. It was just kind of funny, but we were talking on the way there about boxing, and I told him, about what he meant for me and what he did for me in my boxing career, because a lot of father-son relationships can't survive because the dad tries to take too much of a role. Right. My dad was smart enough to know he was going to protect me, but sometimes he protected me from behind the scenes, so it didn't seem like he was, really trying to be a dictator or control me. But my dad is my best friend. I love that guy, man. That's my man. When I was dropping him off today and he was walking to the house, he said, he calls me Champ. Thanks, Champ, for take me to the store, and I was like, hey, Dad, man, anything you need, anytime, you know. But
That's right. That's
but
right.
my dad
man.
was very, very. We talked about. We probably put over 1 million miles in on a car, just traveling back and forth to gyms. My dad drove me to the gym every day.
Every day.
He drove every day, and I rested on the way up, just laid back and went through my workout, what I was going to do. But he drove me to the gym every day. Never missed a professional fight in my career. You know,
great, man. Yeah, I know he was very important in your life. You know, and how I know that because I listened to your conversation, you know, on other interviews, and I know he was a big part of your life and was tremendous toward in your life. Hello to Jackie Bowers. Thank you for coming in. Kenneth Bowers. Hello to you, my friend. Thank y'all for stopping in with the former WBO junior middleweight champion Bronco Mckart. Look, if there's one thing that you can remember that your father said to you that helped you, what was that?
Well, I mean, I guess early on when I decided I wanted to turn professional, he said, "Have a seat at the table, son, and I just want to ask you some questions, and how you answer these questions will determine on my advice I'm going to give you." I said, "Okay." He said, "First of all, I just want to know, why do you want to turn professional? Why do you want to be a professional fighter?" I sat there and I said, "Because I want to be a world champion, Dad." And he goes, "Ah." He leaned back and he was like, I said, "What?" He said, "That's the right answer." I said, "Well, what do you mean?" He said, "If you would have said, I just want to try it, I just want to make some extra money, blah, 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 I would have said, go get a job, son." He said, "But if you want to be a professional fighter, if you want to be world champion, let's go get it. Let's figure out how we're going to do it." So, but I think the biggest piece of advice he gave me early on as a young man, he said, "Listen, as you start to become successful, people are not going to like you. You're going to hear things about yourself. They're going to make rumors. They're going to say things. You have to have thick skin. You have to be able to learn just to smile, nod your head, and walk away no matter." You know what? And it was so true. It was so true. I learned so much just from that right there at the age of 21 years old.
Yeah. Wow. Yeah. I mean, that's tremendous what he told you, you know, because he wanted you to be, if you're going to do it, you know, be the winner, go for it. Go all in. That's it. There's no need to plan with it or anything like that. So yeah, I could understand what he was saying there. Hello to you, Louise Cameron. Thank you for stopping in and coming by. Look, man, you had over 68 fights, over a 22-year career span. At what point was it? At what point was the most exciting point for you out of that 22 years?
Oh, well, there's no doubt it was winning the world championship.
Right.
But it was the reason behind it. And I've shared this story before. And it was my grandfather who passed away about a year before I won the world championship. I made him a promise on his hospital bed that I was going to be world champion and I was going to bring that belt and he was going to be able to see it. And so he passed away about a year before the fight. But I had when I got the world title, when I knew the world title fight was coming up, I had 7 shirts made. And had a picture of me and him on it. I was sitting on his lap. He was a big guy, big jovial and laughy guy. And I had my arm around him. He was laughing real big in the picture. And I had the number 4 and the letter U, 4U on it. And I had 7 shirts so I could train every single day in a shirt with his face on it. Just to remember, I got to keep this promise.
Right.
And then when it got to the championship fight night, we bought a ringside seat, put his hat in it, his picture in it, because he always wore a floppy hat. Put it in, we paid for the ringside seat and had that for him. And when I won the world championship, I had the shirt on. I was holding a picture up to the sky. And when we got back to Michigan, me and my uncles, and they have both passed since, but we took the belt out to my grandpa's gravesite. We laid it on the tombstone, and we spent about an hour there just telling stories about my grandpa. And so, you know, it was a promise kept. So nothing ever could mean as much as that moment. You know?
Yeah. I bet it was. I bet it was a very sentimental moment for you. You know, that whole hour that you spent there over that gravesite. I mean, I can imagine that. You know, because that's something that was inside of you. You know, and you wanted to present it to him. You know, and you did that. Awesome.
And I'm thankful. I'm thankful because I'm. You know, that was a promise. That was, I mean, if God hadn't gifted me with that world title belt and allowed me to get that, man, I don't know how I would have ever felt about myself after, you know what I mean? Because I'm that person. If I say, listen, I will put on a pair of gasoline shorts and walk through fire to get to you, I'll put on gasoline shorts and walk through fire to get to you. You know what I mean? Like if I promise something, I'm going to do it.
speaking of going through something, I hear fighters say, "I will die in this ring." Have you ever felt like that?
I can tell you the fight.
Tell me.
So I was getting ready to fight Skipper Kelp, and Skipper Kelp was a monster amateur, man. I remember him coming up through the amateurs. That guy hit you with a left hook, it was over for you. He got signed by Top Rank. He was climbing the ladder. He was the guy being groomed to be the next welterweight champion of the world.
Yeah.
And so I remember my dad, before I even turned pro, I was watching Skipper Kelp one night fight, and he said, "That's the guy you'll have to beat someday if you want to be world champion." I'm thinking, shit, man, I don't want to fight that monster, man. That dude was Skipper Kelp hit you with a left hook. It was over, man.
It was out, right?
Oh, man, I'm telling you. So, anyways, get the opportunity to fight Skipper Kelp, and it was on the undercard of James Toney and Tim Little and Oscar De La Hoya, Jimmy Breedall, when De La Hoya won his first world title.
Wow.
So I'm fighting on that undercard. The day before the fight, I'm in my hotel room. I am sick, nauseous, nervous. Might have been the day of the fight. I mean, I'm like literally almost physically sick, thinking about how nervous I am fighting this guy.
Mm-hmm.
And so then I said, you know what? I know everybody thinks I'm going to lose this fight. And I know people back home think I'm going to lose this fight. I didn't fly 3,000 miles to turn around and fly 3,000 miles back and pick up an L. I'm not doing that.
Right.
So I got down on my knees and I started I started praying to God, and I said, Lord Jesus, I just ask you, wipe my slate clean, forgive me my sins. I'd rather die tonight in the ring than lose to get back on a plane and go home.
Wow.
I'm not kidding. I called my grandpa.
Wow.
I called my uncles. I remember my grandpa saying, why? Because I said, hey, Grandpa, just want to call and tell you I love you, man. You know, he said, Bronco, it's fight night. Why are you calling me saying these things? That's not how you talk. I said, because I asked God, Lord, I'd rather you take me out than me lose this fight. He said, don't talk like that. I said, too late. I already put it in prayers. You know what I mean? So that was the fight. You know, I look back at that now and think, no, man, you're crazy. But in order to get to where you want to go, you have to be willing, man, to go all out. And did I ever really want to die or get hurt? No, by no means. Yeah. You know, thank God he had enough sense to, you know, not to let that happen too. But it just, I felt that way for that fight. I was willing to just die before I would lose and have to come home. So everybody thought he was going to get me.
So he was your toughest opponent?
I'm not saying he was my toughest opponent, but he was mentally my toughest opponent.
Okay.
My toughest, you know, of course, Winky Wright, fighting him 3 times.
Rinky,
but see, he wasn't like, you know, he was a skillful tactical fighter. He wasn't like tough. You know what I mean? I'm not saying he wasn't tough, but that kind of fighter. Yeah. But like, of course, me and Aaron Davis, we had a brawl when we fought. But I fought this guy out of Canada named Alain Bonamy. Man, as far as just raw toughness goes, I really believe I could have hit that guy with a ball bat and he wasn't gonna go down. I hit him with everything I could hit him with. Finally stopped him on cuts, thank God, because I came back to the corner. This is no lie. Told my dad and Bill Miller, I said, I don't know if I can hit this guy anymore. My hands are killing. It's hurting me, I think, worse than it's hurting him at this point. But yeah, he was a tough guy. But I've been in there with some very, very tough, skillful, high-level guys throughout my career. Yeah.
And when you go into, and let's speaking on this guy, then we'll move to the next question. But when you fight a guy like that, and you got him in the ring, and you hit him, like you said, with everything you got, Mount Rushmore and everything. That's a mental thing now for you, you know, because you're saying, man, I can't do nothing with this guy. You know, what do you do? How do you react to that?
Well, I've told guys this numerous times when they're either fighting or sparring. They're like, man, I've hit him with the best right hand I could hit him with. I said, hit him with 2, hit him with 3. If you can land it, keep landing. That was my mentality. Listen, this guy's gonna take him, but I'm gonna keep giving him. You know.
Hello. All right. Okay. Hello to you. Jay York is in the house. That's the other half of the program. My guy, he did the promo for you, Bronco. He's here.
Very good job. Yeah.
Good to see you, Jay. Thank you for coming in, man. Y'all got to go check my man out, Jay York Productions. He does a lot of different things. You want promos, you want flyers, you name it, Jay does it. Y'all know who he is. Y'all see him up here all the time doing the thing. Good to see him. Look, after you lost to Clayton Williams, you ran off like I think almost 20 wins. And you fought. I think you remember this guy, Santos Cardona.
Yeah.
Remember that guy?
Yeah.
For the WBO.
Yeah.
middleweight championship of the world. How did you feel going into the fight that night?
I felt like there was no way I could lose. There was no way. There was no. That was the promise fight, and there was just no. And I felt so like, in my heart of hearts, I felt so confident I was going to win, that nothing, nothing was going to stop me. Kind of like those crazy stories you hear about when a grandfather lifts a car up because a kid got trapped. Like you're just.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like there was nothing going to stop me. But I want to go back on the Clayton Williams loss.
Yeah, go ahead.
That loss was one of the best things that ever happened to me, because I was in the locker room after the loss. I was on a big undercard too. That was James Toney headlining, and Roy Jones. That's the night James Toney beat Barkley, I believe.
Barkley,
big fight. You got George Foreman, all these guys watching the fight, and Bruce Willis, Demi Moore. All these people, and I lost my fight, and I was heartbroken. I was in my locker room with my head in my hand in my crying, just crying like a baby. Felt this big tap on my back. I looked up. It's George Foreman. He said, "Bronco, let me tell you something. I saw something out there tonight you can't teach people." He said, "Man, you got heart, bro." He said, "Someday you're going to be world champion." I got up, shook his hand. I said, "Mr. Foreman, coming from you means the world to me." So when I got back to Monroe after that loss, a good friend of mine came up to me and he shook my hand and gave me a hug. He said, "Well, Bronco, what's next?" I said, "What do you mean, what's next?" He said, well, you lost, man. So you're gonna keep doing it?" I said, "Bro, listen. Now it just starts. You know what I mean? I lost. Now it just starts." Then I went into this obsessive, just crazy mindset training. Like I don't like the taste of that. I don't want to taste that anymore if I can help it. Right. And so I and I got determined, and I was fortunate though. So because even at a young age of 21. I had the discipline. I had the right mindset. I lived with my dad at 21 all the way until I won the world title. I lived with my dad and my uncle. Them guys would give me, they would divvy up money each week, like $75. Just $75 between them just to give me pocket money. So I had gas money and go out, and every once in a while my uncle would say, "Here, take my car, take your girlfriend out, whatever. Here's some money." They kept money in my pocket so I could just train. All I did was train. I didn't work a job when I was fighting. I just trained, for a long period of my life. So, but I was willing to take $75 a week, knowing I'm going to be shortchanged now, but there'll come a time where I'll be fine.
That's right.
And I looked at the big picture, and what I always tell people, you can have $10 million in the bank. The bank could crash tomorrow, so could the economy. Your money's gone. No matter what happens, my name will be in the books forever as a former world champion. And I just love that part of it.
There you go. Amen, my brother. I got a couple questions for you. T-Bone out of Fayetteville, North Carolina, good friend of mine. They went to the fights. Could not make it last night, the Michael Williams Jr. fight last night. He says, what motivated you to box? What gave you the inspiration to box?
When I got into boxing at that time, I was running around with just a really bad group of kids that were getting in a lot of trouble, and every single one of them, except for my best friend to this day, ended up either dead or in prison. My dad was an amateur boxing coach at the time, and he sat me down and he gave me the option. You can, every day when you get home from school, you're going to spend time with me. I don't care what you want to do. We can go fishing. We can play basketball, 10. I don't care what it is, but it's going to be with me, son, because I'm going to step in. And I'm changing your life right now. I'm not losing my son to the streets. And so so that's what did it. And that's why my dad to this day is my man.
A question here from Jay York. Jay says, in your opinion, who's better, Holyfield or Tyson?
I think if they both fought in their prime, I would have to say Mike Tyson. Okay. As a heavyweight. If they both fought in their prime, I'd have to say Mike Tyson. Before Mike Tyson got away from Customato and Jacobs and all them, before he got hooked up with Robin Givens, that Mike Tyson. That guy was almost unbeatable. You know what I mean?
Yeah, you're right.
Yeah, that Mike Tyson. But I love Holyfield, man. You got to give it to him. He's
I mean, he was something else. I mean, he could fight.
He could fight. His heart, he might have weighed 220. His heart weighed 217.
You got that right. Here we go. You just spoke on this professional fighter. Winky Wright. Wow. Fight him. You had a trilogy. That was 3 times you fought him.
Yeah.
Man, how did you get to fight him 3 times like that?
Well, I wouldn't say I was lucky, but it just no. So the first time me and Winky fought, I was the champion defending my title against him. I mean, I still to this day, I still feel I won that fight.
You won that fight.
Doesn't matter, you know what I mean? But went down in the books as a loss, but I feel I won that fight. And then, nobody really wanted to fight Winky, and nobody really wanted to fight me because at that time the reward wasn't worth the risk because we weren't really like high profile like for Vargas to fight De La Hoya was a lot more smart for Vargas to fight me or Winky.
Right.
You know what I mean? So that kind of thing. So they played it that way. So me and Winky was always like 1 and 2. We would always have the boxer off to fight for the title, or he was the champion. I fought him, and so on and so forth. So it just kept ending up me and him. And what's so crazy is I always say, it's just funny how it works, because if Winky Wright was not in my era, if he would have been a few years in front of me or a few years behind me, I dominate in my mind. I dominate that division for a few years. I just don't feel like there was anybody out there stylistically at that point when I was in my peak that could beat me besides him.
Right. Yeah, he was a technician. That's what I want to say about him. He was really a technician in the ring, and how he moved and how he, his defense was tight. I tell you that. Yeah.
Oh yeah, and he took a good shot. He could take a great shot.
Oh yeah, he could. Another question. Here we go. Jay says, how many title fights have you fought? Title fights that you can remember.
Well, I mean, I fought. So if you're going to count like NABF titles, which if you want to count them, so I had WBO twice. I fought for the WBA world title. Fought for the IBF world title. USA or NABF, US. What's the other one? USBA. I think it's about a total of about 9.
Okay, yeah, that's
9
plenty.
Somewhere in there,
yeah, that's plenty. Well, you retired from the game now. You had a great career. But you're still into boxing, and what are you doing now? Because you're active some kind of way, not in the boxing gym or anything, but you're active some kind of way.
I'm on what's called the MUCC, the Michigan Unarmed Combat Commission. Used to just be the boxing commission, but now it has MMA under its umbrella. They're bringing in Muay Thai fighting.
Right.
So I sit on the board. I've been on the board since like 2014. Some of the things I do, I'm one of the people that approve the fights that take place, institute the rules. Sometimes I have to dole out some fines and penalties for rules that are violated, things like that. Part of rule changes that have taken place. And we've had some really good rule changes since 2014. Not saying that because of me, but I'm just saying in general, we've had some really good rule changes that made us more attractive state to fight in, because at one point our rule set was, in my opinion, so bad that a lot of people were avoiding coming here. Right. And but that all got changed and things got moved in the right direction.
Yeah. Matter of fact, I just want to touch on this guy. This gentleman just popped up here. It's James Toney, brother, DMC Can. What's up, man? I know he just popped up. He always come on my program.
That's good.
Yeah, he's always around. Yep. I want to say hello to Vita Ralang. Vita Ralang, he's another boxer out of the light bright boxing out of South Carolina. Good to see you, brother. We'll look to get you back on, Vita. I know you had a fight a couple of weeks ago. Look, we want to talk about some fighters because we're winding it down, but I want to get into the fighting, and I want to get into one or two more things. Thoughts on some fighters this year? It's been a great year.
Yes.
It's been a great year for boxing, but I want to get your thoughts on some fighters. First, I want to talk about Terrence Bud Crawford.
I've been saying for a couple of years that guy is the guy that's going to come out and be the cream of the crop, going to be the guy that comes out on top. I think he's special. Yeah. He's special. He's one of those guys that I know. Somebody asked me, "What do you think you would have done with Terrence Crawford in his prime?" I said, "Probably tried to avoid him." To be honest with you, but that guy's a monster. He's special. I think he's one of the most complete fighters literally pound for pound, that we've had the blessing to be able to see. I mean, this guy's special.
Yeah, he is.
And he's mean. What I like about him, he has this really mean streak in him. But what's so great about him is when you're watching him fight, at least when I do, when I'm watching him fight, there comes a point in the fight where I say, he saw it. He saw it. Now this fight's going to change, and Terrence Crawford's going to take over. He's going to stop this guy. And he does it. I mean, you can see when he's boxing, all of a sudden things will change, and you can see he saw something, and it's over.
It's over. Another technician. That's what technicians do, man.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying? It's up here. It's up here. Tony Burgess out of Burgess Boxing Fitness Gym out of Fayetteville, North Carolina. My man Tony, what's up, man? Thank you so much. A great supporter of the program that was at the fights last night with Michael Williams Jr. He won his fight. Jay York says, let me see. What weight do you make in your weight classes? Or you fight, or when you fight women? What weight do you make in your weight classes? Or you when you fighting for titles? I guess what he's saying is, what's your weight that you make?
154 and 160. I spent most part of my career at 154. Latter part of my career at 160.
Well, 154 is a hot bed right now.
Yeah, yes.
It's a hot bed. DMC Can says, "How you doing, champ?" Hey, James Tony Brother says, "How you doing?"
My man.
Yeah. Here we go. Canelo Alvarez.
I mean, I think Canelo Alvarez is a great fighter. You can't take that away from him. I mean, I know when he stepped up to fight Bivol, I totally expected Canelo to lose that fight. I just didn't think that was a fight. Guy was too big, too strong. I mean, Canelo. But I'm just going to say this. All due respect to Canelo, I think he's, like I said, especially in this generation of fighters, he's one of the all-time greats. Yeah. But when you compare him to some of the other middleweights throughout the history of boxing, James Toney would have ate Canelo Alvarez up. I don't care what.
I'm in agreement.
You know what I mean? Then you throw in like a Marvin Hagler, and you throw in a John Beast Mugabe, and you throw
Mike McCallum.
Oh yeah, it's just the timing of it now. And but I'll give him what I do like about him is he's fighting everybody. He's jumping up, he's jumping down. He's fighting people. He's not cherry picking, in my opinion. And I think he's going to go down as one of the all-time great middleweights. Probably win the top. I don't know, top 15 maybe. I don't know where he'll end up.
True, and I agree with you about that. Tony Burgess said, okay, he said, my man James Toney. Yeah, that's his buddy James Toney.
Love that dude. Love that dude.
Here we go. Young fighter right now. My man Tank Davis.
Oh yeah. Yeah, Tank Davis. One thing about him is no matter where you are in the fight, he's always one punch away from changing it. You know. And he doesn't get enough credit for his boxing ability because Tank can box when he wants to. And he's pretty slick. You know, he does just enough subtle movement, enough subtle things to set guys up to where early on in the fight, you can see that he's just walking, he's catching, he's doing different things. But you can see he's putting it in the bank. You can see he's putting it in the bank. Later on, he's going to make that withdrawal because he already deposited all he needs. Then later on, he makes that move, boom, explodes, fight's over with. I like him. I enjoy him. He's tough.
Tough, very tough. T-Bone says, out of Fayetteville, North Carolina, says, who do you think was the greatest heavyweight of all time? In just opinion, who you think?
Man, I'm going to tell you. I catch a lot of flack for this. Tyson Fury. Tyson Fury is one of the greatest, and I'm going to tell you why. Because he's 6'9", 270 some odd pounds. He can get on his toes and box when he wants to. He can sit down and bang when he wants to.
Even better than Muhammad Ali?
Muhammad Ali's my favorite all time. I put Muhammad Ali as the GOAT. He's my GOAT. You know what I mean? Right. But I'm telling you, top five. Okay, put it this way. Okay. You can't have a top five heavyweight of all time conversation and not have Tyson Fury's name in it.
Okay, I see what you're saying. Okay.
That's just an opinion. But I'm telling you, the more I watch him, the little thing, he's smart. He lays on guys. He does all kinds of things.
Yeah, he does. And his weight, man on you like that. Oh God, man.
Yeah. All right, but I need to give a shout out to my man Steve Cunningham on that overhand right that he landed on Tyson Fury when they fought. I thought it was over.
Okay. I got you on that one. DMC Can says, are you training any fighters?
No, I really can't be involved because I sit on the
Yeah.
boxing commission for the state of Michigan.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
I do go down to the local gym and watch some of the amateurs and some of the
Cheers.
pros work out and try to give them pointers and tips. But I'm not personally involved right now in training
Right.
anybody.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. And that was my last guy, Tyson Fury. I was going to ask you about him, but you already talked about him. But he was my last guy to ask you about, was Tyson Fury.
Yeah.
Tyson Fury. Look, wow. We've got HBO left, Showtime, and this is what I'm talking about. Showtime is going to be going on at the end of this year. Wow,
Great.
man. Yeah, it is. It is. We're talking now. This is what I want to talk about to you, Bronco. What do you think now? What do you think needs to happen now? Because the people, we're craving for something now, and Showtime's going to be gone. HBO's gone, but HBO saw this, and I think Showtime knew this was going to happen. What's your thoughts on it?
Well, so the boxing did figure it out at one point is when PBC boxing started putting all those free fights on TV, just regular free fights. ESPN still does, because at one point we were trying to do all these pay-per-views, and then MMA snuck in and started putting fights on every single Thursday, Friday night on TV, Friday, Saturday night, MMA. So it kind of started capturing the young generation, and the old schoolers like us. At one point when we're gone, who's going to come follow boxing behind us, right? Mm-hmm. So they started doing the free fights and attracting the audience, and they started putting the best against the best so these guys could quit avoiding each other, and all the best fights have been happening in the last few years. We've seen some of the best fights against the best fighters, and so but a guy, I was just having a conversation actually with a fight promoter this morning about this kind of stuff. And he made a valid point. He said, Bronco, he said, right now as a promoter, he said, if a guy comes to me and says, hey, I got a kid, he's got 195 wins and 5 losses as an amateur. He was this champion, Olympic, Mm-hmm. He said, or they come to me with a kid who can't fight a lick, but he's got 2 million followers on Instagram. He said, who do you think I'm going to sign? I was like, he said, I'm going to sign the $2 million. He said, look what's going on with the Jake Pauls and the KSI. So you got to figure something out. And what you have to do is you just have to keep fighting the best fighters against the best fighters and quit avoiding it. Because if you keep avoiding it, pretty soon you're going to avoid yourself right out of the sport.
Exactly. DMC said you still live in. Yeah, he still lives in Michigan. DMC, Ken. I'm gonna answer that question for you. But I'm just sitting here thinking because I was listening to another program, and the guy said that in his boxing program, Coach Madikai, he said, the people is what pays the boxer's salary.
Yeah.
The people, and what he was saying was, okay, you got an event $79.99. It's up to the people to buy it or not to buy it.
Yeah.
People can see through, and I'm gonna say this: people can see through the bullshit.
Yep.
The people can see through it. Man, I'm not buying that fight. You got Hoghead Cheese versus Broke Down Larry. Yep. You know what I'm saying? So, that's how this shit goes.
I haven't seen that fight, but yeah, sounds like a good one.
but the people want the best against the best. What happened was you keep letting, I'm gonna say it, you let this shit marinate 2 or 3 years later. Man, that fight should have been 3 years ago.
Yeah, and people start to lose interest in it.
Yeah, they start to lose interest in the fight. I'm gonna keep it real. Because this is my show, and I'm gonna tell it just like it is. That's what's going on. That's why Showtime, HBO, that's part of their reason. There may be some other reasons. That's part of the damn reason. Yeah. You can't bring this shit to the boxing field and you want $89.99 for a fight, but you're giving me bullshit. Yep. That's it.
Yep.
I'm being straight about it.
Yeah. I mean, everybody that's in boxing, not the average fan, but the boxing fan, they want to see Canelo and David Benavidez.
That's what they want.
Everybody wants to see that fight. They'll pay $89.95.
They'll pay that.
They want to see that.
That's right.
The Charlo Canelo fight that took place, I didn't watch it. I didn't pay for it. I didn't watch it.
Man,
no disrespect to Charlos and boys. They're good at what they do. No disrespect to them. But I already knew it was a foregone conclusion. Only difference is he made 12 rounds. I didn't think he'd make 12 rounds, but my understanding is he fought to survive and not to win. I didn't watch anything of it.
Well, I'm gonna tell you, that was the worstest fight I've ever seen the whole year.
Yeah.
I'm gonna be honest with you. And everybody saw that.
Yeah.
I mean, you're not gonna keep fooling the people. You're just not gonna
No.
keep doing that. The people are not
No.
gonna be. I'm not dishing out there, but I mean, I'm just being honest. I'm just keeping it real. You dig what
No,
I'm
I'm the
saying?
same way. I'm the same way.
I'm just keeping it real. But that's what I think is going on now. Now, y- 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 now PBC is trying to find some. Well, I guess they're trying to find somewhere to go. Somebody's talking about rumors, just a bunch of rumors. Dinanza, but he don't want to go there. Amazon Prime, he don't want to go there. So I don't know what's going to happen with all these PBC fighters and what's going on. But we're just talking this right now, y'all. We're just
Yeah.
talking. I want to keep it real with y'all about this thing.
Boy, I hope they figure something out, because I tell you what, I miss Tuesday night fights, the USA Tuesday night fights.
Well,
I love those.
DMC Ken says I want to do a boxing event. I guess in Michigan. He said he want to do a boxing event in Michigan. Thank you, Louise, for coming in. We're winding the show down, but it looks like it's got hot right now with the conversation. but anyway, I mean, to sum it all up, and we wind this thing down. I think that I'm like you. I wish if you would remember, Bronco, back in the 70s and 80s, you could get the best fights on TV for free.
Yeah.
ABC, CBS,
Yeah.
NBC.
Yeah.
Now, and you didn't have to pay a doggone thing.
No.
That's when boxing was boxing. Then,
Yeah.
Muhammad Ali fought on TV. You see him all the time. Joe
Yeah.
Frazier.
Yeah.
Think about it now.
Yeah.
Here we go. I'm gonna preach to y'all today. If I don't never preach again, that's when boxing. The networks was on their stuff. They was doing the thing right. We didn't have a lot of this BS crap coming in here.
Yep.
And I mean, that's just. I'm putting it like it is. I'm calling it like I see it. A spade, a spade.
Yep.
You think about it, people. Y'all think about it right now. How boxing was back then versus it is now.
And the best fought the best. Think about
Exactly.
it. Think about it. Everybody wants to talk about Floyd Mayweather, 50-0, one of the greatest of all time. I'm not going to knock him either, because he's a great fighter. I can't knock him. Not knocking him. But here's what I'm saying. Take Tommy Hearns, Marvin Hagler, Wilfred Benitez, Roberto Duran, Sugar Ray Leonard. They all round robin. They all fought each other. If you threw Floyd Mayweather in the middle of those five, he's coming out 50-0. Come on, man.
I don't think so.
Ain't happening.
Don't think so. Don't think
the best
so.
fought the best.
No.
In their prime.
No.
In their prime.
Prime. That's right. In their prime. A lot of people didn't know this, and then I'm gonna wind this thing down. Wilfred Benitez was the youngest champion, 17 years old. 17. I bet y'all didn't know that.
Yeah.
17 years old. He was the youngest champion in the world, Wilfred Benitez, and won, and then he won again at 20 something. I can't think of what it was, but that guy was something else. But anyway, look, man. Look, it's been a great show. I got heated up there a little bit, but that's what I do. This is the program to get heated up on. You can't get no program. You can't do it nowhere else but here. So get heated up here. Look, any questions for me, Bronco?
No, I have none. I just want to say thank you for having me on. Great show, great conversation. I love it. I enjoy talking boxing, especially when somebody on the other side knows what they're talking about. That makes a big difference. You did a great job, great interview. I appreciate it. Appreciate your time.
Well, look, man, I thank you for being on my program and coming on today. Before I go, what does the D.HALL People Show in conjunction with J York Productions mean to you, man?
Man, it was special. It was a blessing. It was great. And I tell you what, just your intro, just what you were hyped up for the week leading up to this, the 2 weeks leading up to this, I was like, man, that looks good. I like that. So you guys did do a great job. Keep up the great work. Appreciate you having me on, and God bless in your future.
Hey, man, I thank you for coming on. I hope you can do it again in 2024 with me, man. We'd love to have you back on. And when you come on here, we small, but we do big things here, brother.
My man. Appreciate it.
Thank you, man. See you.
Thank you.
Yes, sir. Oh, man, that was a great show there, man. It was wonderful, wonderful, great show. Thank him for coming on. Yeah, I'm just keeping it real. I'm keeping it real about this boxing, man. You want to pay your money, $79.99. You got, like I said, hog head cheese and black eyed pea Larry fighting. What kind of crap is that? I ain't paying for it. I don't know about you, but I ain't paying for it. Yep, great show today. Look, y'all come back with me Thursday. Yeah, I got my man Ali Dawson, professional actor. We're gonna talk with him. He's been around some top-notch people in the acting world. Bet you didn't know I did a little acting too. Ali, my man. Thank you. Thank Jay York, my man. Thank y'all, Jackie Bowers, Chuck Megzer, all y'all. I appreciate y'all, man, for coming in and being on a part of the show with what me and Jay York do, man. Thank you so much. Hey, look, I'll see y'all Thursday night, 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. You better be here with me. You better be here with me, man, because we're going to have a great show that night, too, also. All right, I'll see y'all. Y'all take care.
You are in the mix with D.HALL and the People's Show.
What can I say? I appreciate y'all guys for coming in.
Jay York production.
You are in the mix with D.HALL and the People's Show.
Coming to us out of studio today in beautiful Raleigh, North Carolina. He stands next to his world-famous producer, Jay York. He is the #1 undisputed top talk show host on the air today. The voice of the people show. Ladies and gentlemen, here is D.HALL.